as the most impressive.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Because that cat thing is kind of lame. Like, I'm glad the cat got legs, but who gives a fuck? They weren't even like really impressive. They're just like I feel like I could do that. Like I feel like I could sew some little metal pegs onto a fucking cat.
Would they be able to run around
Here
with
you go,
them?
kitty
Now?
cat.
Oh dear. Okay. Checking.
All right, I'm ready whenever you are.
Okay. Not much of a pre-show today.
Except that you're muted, I think.
No, I'm not. Oh,
yeah, you're muted.
I'm muted. Yeah. I'm not sure why I did that. There we go. Better.
Sure. Holy fuck! I fucking hate my computer. I hate all of this. God damn it! It's so fucking infuriating.
What happened?
It's just like it jumps all over the place. I just finally got up to the top of the list, the screen, the Google Docs, and it jumped down halfway through the page, just randomly, and it took like 20 minutes to get literally what I could do in 5 minutes anywhere else.
Do you want to quiz me, or shall I quiz you on the quiz?
I haven't looked at it at all.
Neither have I.
Okay. Well, if you do it, you can play Ding or Buzz.
All right, I'll quiz you. That'll be fun.
Which unfortunately we didn't have the foresight of going out and getting a Star Wars related noises for.
That is correct. I did not. Also, probably gonna have Corey in the chat room today. That'll be fun.
Okay, well we have to, if we want to get him involved, we need to do it real fast.
I know. Okay, so we are going in 3, 2, 1.
How did my father die?
A young Jedi named Darth Vader, who was a pupil of mine until he turned to evil, helped the Empire hunt down and destroy the Jedi Knights. He betrayed and murdered your father.
Only you could be so bold.
The Imperial Senate will not sit still for this. When they hear you've attacked a...
How dare the press not believe me that I went after my mother with a hammer? He said he went after his mother with a hammer. He wanted to hit her on the head.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Then I tried to stab a friend of mine, but now it's changed. Oh! No!
Hey, where'd you get that body from? Where'd you get that body from? Where'd you get that body from?
I got it from my daddy. I got it from my daddy. I got it.
Hey, you want to guess what the theme of this episode is? Actually, if you can't, you probably shouldn't be listening to the show. This isn't the show for you if you don't know what the theme is and why. We've got an appropriately themed quiz. Darth Trump is going to shut down the internet, an air traffic controller you don't want guiding your plane in, and a sort of appropriate captain for the U.S.'s new Imperial destroyer. Is that the right ship? There's an Imperial destroyer, right?
It is.
Is that the one you'd use? Okay.
Yeah.
All this and more on this episode of Interior
1, 2, ready, go. I hope you keep a picture of me in your mind.
Welcome back to the End of the Third podcast, your source for news, nonsense, and entertainment in the Great Northwest. It is Friday, December 11th, 2015. It's been too long.
It's been a pretty long time.
Far too long. Yeah, that's the time of year we're in, though. It's got the holidays and the families and the snowstorms and the things.
Work. Oh
the work.
my God, I hate work so much right now. We lost somebody, so we're having to do shitty overtime and weird schedules.
That's no good. And you know what else is no good is being stuck at the bottom of a 300-foot driveway with a sheet of ice covering the whole thing. You know,
you weenie.
You're giving me crap like I'm some sort of West Sider. You forget I spent a decade on the East Side. where it snows 2 feet overnight and everyone goes about their business. So I know.
And yet apparently you forgot everything you knew about how to deal with it.
No, I know how to deal with it. I was not in the proper vehicle for the job in the right location. If I'd been paying any attention at all when it first started, I would have taken the car and parked it at the top of the hill, and I would have got out 2 days before. I did. I did not.
It worked out just fine because instead of doing this show, I got up after about 2.5 to 3 hours of sleep and drove to the Sandpoint and went skiing. So
well,
worked
lucky
out
you.
Just fine.
My misfortune led to an exciting vacationing weekend for you. And quick tip for all current and future parents of babies: on your kid's first birthday, which happened a couple of days ago for me, it's customary to give them some sort of a cake, a cupcake or a smash cake, as they call it, where you just let them go crazy and smush their cake. Well, if you're gonna do
customary?
that, it's pretty customary.
That they're getting a cake?
Yeah, well, they don't understand that it's their birthday and they deserve a cake. But when you put a sugary lump of frosting in front of them and just tell them go nuts, they tend to do that. And she was shoveling chocolate cupcake and frosting into her wee mouth. And while I do support this tradition, I don't suggest you do it right before bedtime.
Yeah, even if you're a full-grown adult, you should be eating a bunch of sugar. I mean, I do it pretty much every single night because I'm a sugar addict. But yeah, if you want to sleep well, that's
well. No, we did that and not even thinking about it until after we'd done it, and that put her into the most sugar-blasted fever dream.
Your child that hasn't had any sugar at all her entire life.
Yeah, and so I stayed up for the next 12 hours or so with her while she cried and wouldn't sleep. She'd fall asleep and then wake up, and it's been a nightmare for the last couple of days, and it's entirely my fault. But don't do that. Not right before bed.
Okay, good to know. I'll keep that on my list of stupid things that I won't do.
If you want to give your kid sugar, you should do it at an early lunch, not a late dinner. Also, Jessica Jones, you can't give me any more shit.
I can't. From what I'm reading here, it looks like you haven't finished it yet.
No, I haven't finished, but dude.
Yeah, no, I can still give. It's been like 3 weeks now.
Well, not everybody wants to binge through it to the point where an entire season of content is gone before you can blink an eye. So I've taken it.
What year are you living in?
Well, no, I wanted to.
That's how everybody consumes media.
I binged it, but I've been binging it at a slower pace. At a rate of an episode or 2 per 24-hour period, and I'm on 12 of 13. I stopped watching a few days ago because Fever Dream, but it's not worse than Daredevil was.
No,
but it's different.
It's a completely different kind of story.
I'll tell you that my level of enjoyment for Jessica Jones is not as high as it was for Daredevil.
But David Tennant is
awesome. Tennant is awesome.
David Tennant
all of my favorite scenes
far
involve
beyond the best thing about that show.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I really enjoyed the casting for, I don't know his name, but the guy who's playing Luke Cage.
Yeah, he did well. He did very well.
Spot on. And I think, I don't remember her name either, but the girl from the girl who's playing Jessica Jones, the one who used to be the Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever watched that show.
No.
I feel like she has. Did I say this before? Did we talk about it at all? I feel like she played this character in this other show. For those who've seen it. And she was really, really good as that character, but I feel like she's afraid to go into that, to even venture near that personality that she was portraying in that previous show, because that was probably the biggest argument against her playing Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
And
no, I think she did a very good job with the character. I don't like her. The character, I don't like Jessica Jones. Like on a personal level, I don't like her. I find her annoying and abrasive. And you're supposed to.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like she could have been a tiny bit. If she'd have just been a tiny bit more personable, just the tiniest
Just
bit more personable,
a little bit more likable.
I mean, like I understand you're not supposed to like her.
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I agree.
And I don't know the story of Jessica Jones, so I'm not coming into it as a fanboy, expecting to see certain things. But the military guy with the pills and the secret whatever.
Yeah, he's supposedly a character. Bill William. I don't remember. I forget. But
forget his
apparently,
name.
he's actually a character from the comic.
No, I believe it, and I mean because you're not just going to make up such an impactful character like that for no reason just for TV.
Sure.
Like there's plenty of that stuff to draw from the
I
comics.
I forget what his character's name is, but he gets like a American flag painted on his face, and he's like psycho.
Yeah, he does go pretty psycho, and it's this weird. It's like the opposite of a love triangle. It's a weird hate triangle between Jessica and Kilgrave and this other dude, and it was a fascinating dynamic. And but there's just so little likability for any of these characters. I personally like Kilgrave more than any of the other characters, just because it's David Tennant being awesome.
Yeah, David Tennant just so steals the show in every scene that he's in. It's so great. It's so great to have him back. I love having him back.
And did you ever see? Well, you did watch that one where his detective show.
Yes, Broadchurch. Actually, there's a second season out of it that just came out on either Netflix or Hulu. I can't remember.
Yeah, and
Chloe said she's seen it and she enjoyed it.
He was fantastic in the first season of that.
Huh?
He's great in everything he does. There's a little bit of Doctor Who in everything he does, but
yeah, can't really.
But you can't really help it. No. Hey, Corey's in the chat room. Hey, Corey. He likes it more than
Corey,
Daredevil.
who's the guy from who takes the pills in Jessica Jones? And also, what's the name of the girl, her friend that used to be on TV?
I've totally forgotten all the names.
She was like Wildcat or something like that as well. She actually is a superhero as well.
And we'll watch the chat room for that.
And hey, Corey, I just got a Rainbow Six Siege last night. Played that for 2 nights ago.
Why would you do that when we still have Fallout?
Because it came out and I want to play it, and I pretty much played, aside from going to Sandpoint to go skiing and a few nights off here and there. I pretty much played Fallout every night since it came out.
There hasn't been a game that's infiltrated my daily thoughts as much as Fallout since Skyrim. And
no, but Rainbow Six Siege is a lot of fun. Rainbow Six Vegas was was my favorite first-person shooter. It was by far my favorite first-person shooter.
I'm sorry.
cool.
Do you remember the order of questions you asked Corey? Because he answered them in this order: Nuke, Trish, and Hellcat.
There you go. Yeah.
Perfect.
That's the name of the guy, the pill popper. Then the actual name of the character.
Right.
Gotcha. And then the AKA.
Right. That's the other thing. Fascinating naming
each episode
convention.
is AKA something.
Also known as
every character in the show is an AKA.
Right. Yeah, I like it. I'm glad they did it, and it's just no one. I don't like anybody.
No,
I enjoyed the show, and I've got one more episode to go, and it's very exciting.
Great.
Hey, you know what it's time for?
Yeehaw!
It's time for a list quiz thing.
For dusting crops. The home world.
This is a Star Wars Who Said It quiz. Because we're about to have the Star Wars thing is about to happen, and because I've got the sound buttons, I'm quizzing Bill. It's gonna be fun. Anyone listening can play along at home. Oh shit! I lost Bill. Pause while I get the bill back. Hey, you back? This is fantastic. Excellent radio. It's a good thing I can pause the recording. Are you back?
This is fucking fun.
Hey, he's back. We're back, everybody. We're back.
I love technology so fucking much.
Technology is the best. I didn't break the internet this time. It was definitely on Bill's side this time. Not like the pre-show where I unplugged the cord like a dummy. We're gonna go ahead and leave Bill's video off for a little while as we continue.
Yeah, let's just leave all the videos off altogether. But you have a quiz.
I do. I have a quiz. It's very exciting. I'm gonna quiz you. I won't get to see your reactions, which is a little bit sad, but I'm in charge of the buttons, so we're gonna go ahead and start this off here.
Are you gonna deliver? Are you gonna do an impression with these?
No, because that would give it away, sort of.
Now, it's a Star Wars Who Said It quiz. We'll see if I can wade through the Who Said What Star Wars.
I'm gonna get my buttons out.
Yeah, get your buttons.
And we're ready to go. All right, when you get it right, we'll go. We'll get this. When you get it wrong, you're gonna get this.
I'm so disappointed that you didn't get like R2D2 for correct and the Emperor or something.
Yeah, well, what can you do? All right, number 1, hokey religions and ancient weapons. No match for a good blaster at your side, kid. There's a bright center of the universe. You're on the planet that it's farthest from.
That would be Obi-Wan Kenobi. What? Who said that?
You suck. That's Luke telling C-3PO where he's from.
You're right. Damn it.
You can't win, Darth. Strike me down. Become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
That's Obi-Wan.
Well, somebody has to save our skins. Into the garbage chute, Flyboy. How noob is this going to be? I haven't looked at any of these. Oh, now this is tricky because I know for a fact that this came from the special editions. Jabba,
okay.
Jabba, you're a wonderful human being.
Jabba is a wonderful human being.
Yeah, is that someone else that says Jabba, you're a wonderful human being?
That's got to be Han Solo.
It is. It's from that terrible scene where he has him walking around.
You never want to actually see Jabba.
No. I felt a great disturbance in the Force. Millions of voices cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced.
Kenobi.
This is pretty noob. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm not even gonna go there. You got that one right. That's for Princess.
Technically, that was R2D2.
Something like that.
Is that it? You should be looking through for actually mildly difficult ones.
I can't.
I'm still embarrassed that I missed that one.
I can't. It's a slideshow. This is terrible.
Oh.
That's the.
I don't know
quote.
who says that.
I don't know either for sure, but Chewbacca is one of the questions, so we're going there. Your weapons, you won't need them.
Weapons, you won't need. Oh, Yoda. Right before Luke goes into the cave.
Good job.
It's a trap!
I am your father. This is stupid.
Really? Seriously?
Okay.
Yeah, fail.
Awful quiz. Quiz is over. We win. Forget it. Everyone go see Star Wars on the 18th.
90%.
You got all of them right except for...
I just blanked on that. I was like...
It was a good try. You know what? We should probably screen these in the future.
Generally speaking, that's a good policy.
Whatever. We're short on time today, and we want to get to Corey anyway. So we're going to move straight along. Do you want to get serious?
Sure, let's do it.
A little bit serious. I gotta find my buttons.
Why so serious?
We haven't talked since that shooting in San Bernardino that took 14 lives, but authorities are now trying to see what kind of red flags that they missed. Apparently, 28-year-old Saeed Rizwan Farouk and his wife, 29-year-old Tashfeen Malik, expressed some radical leanings on Facebook as far back as 2013. Lawmakers have since stepped up security by tightening reins on visas for people who are from or who are recently visited either Syria or Iraq. Tashfeen was brought over on a fiancé visa last year. Meanwhile, authorities are looking into a friend of Farouk's who purchased the assault rifles used in the December 2nd massacre, all legally apparently. No charges have been filed yet, but they seem to be curious whether or how he might have been involved in the planning. And they've been doing some diving into a little lake north of San Bernardino, apparently looking for evidence. But what type of evidence they've been closed-lipped about. Evidence has come out to indicate that they were actually also planning a bigger attack at some point, but thankfully that didn't happen. We just got the mild little 14 death attack that they did.
Yeah, right.
Just that. Apparently, Donald Trump is actually really Darth Trump, as you heard in the. Intro there.
Everyone, stop what they're doing. Pause this show and go watch the entire Darth Trump video.
Yeah, you wouldn't think it would be nearly as like I literally like burst out laughing a couple of times during that little tidbit. But yeah, I love the way the Imperial officers are like nodding along with what Vader's actually saying.
Extremely well done.
It just worked really well. Mm-hmm. It was so weird. He's like, I love Mexicans. I mean China all the time. I want to fuck my daughter. Anyway, so, have you noticed he has a really weird sexual obsession with his daughter? He literally, I think he's and so anyway, I hadn't actually heard this until you sent it to me a little while, but it's hard to keep up with all the crazy shit that he says. But apparently he wants to close down the internet, and we won't be able to do this show because of Muslims. He's going to talk to Bill Gates about that because obviously Bill Gates has a switch somewhere in his basement where he can just turn off all the works because he's the gatekeeper, obviously, right?
He is, definitely.
Of course, that's just one in a long list of crazy shit that Trump has said in recent, I was going to say in recent weeks, but since I don't know, he was
since
born.
we started thrusting a microphone into his face.
Right. Well, no, I mean, he's been saying crazy shit for a long time now.
We just haven't
he actually
cared
had
about
to cancel his trip to Israel. They're extremely pleased he won't be coming, by the way. Trips to Israel are a long-time tradition for presidential candidates. Israel, pretty much the most anti-Muslim place on the planet, doesn't want Trump to visit because is anti-Muslim statements. They've already got enough issues going on there trying to get along with their neighbors. They're all Muslims. True. They don't want to stir the pot any more than it's already been stirred. So he's not going. He says he'll go ahead and visit after he becomes president. And so now he's threatening to run on a third party bid. I actually saw today that Ben Carson has joined in saying that same thing. If
doesn't that virtually guarantee another Democrat president?
Yeah, exactly. Go right ahead. We'd love that. Thank you. It would pretty much essentially give the presidency to the Democrats because it would split the vote. Of course, this all just goes back to the theory that I've been touting for several months now that he just wants exposure. He has no interest in the presidency whatsoever. It's all about the Trump brand. As it is, even if he dropped out today, he's already guaranteed to spend the rest of his life making good living, touring, and writing books and doing speeches and things like that.
Do you think if he didn't do this faux presidential run, he would have any trouble living comfortably for the rest of his life?
Look at Sarah Palin. That's all you got to say.
Yeah.
So he's still got a nice, healthy lead in the polls, though. And yeah. Any thoughts?
It just makes me tired. I mean, because
it just goes to prove that this is not politics. This is entertainment.
It is, and what he's doing, the reason he's got all this support right now is not because he's saying intelligent things or things that we want to come out of a president. It's because he's just going up there and saying what's on his imbecilic brain, and people.
Well, no, he's saying
the anti-politician.
He's saying the most offensive things that he can in order to rile up a certain populace. That,
right, and they're
low level thinking populace who buy into this bullshit.
But there's a lot of people who hear the things that Trump is saying, right, and don't agree with them, but are still on the bandwagon because he's saying things that they perceive to be real things. He's not saying the candy-coated political things that everyone says to win a nomination.
Yeah, no, he's saying he's directly targeting fear and bigotry. Yeah. Speaking of bigotry, do you have the clip that I have there?
You had a clip? Oh crap! You had a clip.
Yeah. I'll let you go ahead and get started on that while I kind of set it up. Today, Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
You still there?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
What am I
Supreme
looking?
Court Justice Antonin Scalia seems to have been reading some of the same material that Trump has. He's been under fire for the last couple days for comments he made about black students during a case SCOTUS was hearing. That's Supreme Court of the United States, by the way. Was hearing on I can't say it. An affirmative action case. The University of Texas was defending its use of race as a factor in admissions in a case before the court. Here are his comments if they're loaded.
We have breaking news. We're just getting the
Go
audio
to
from
17
controversial comments by.
There are those who contend that it does not benefit African Americans to get them into the University of Texas where they do not do well, as opposed to having them go to a less advanced school, a slower track school where they do well. One of the briefs.
That's good.
Wow.
So less advanced schools where they could do well.
Where all the stupid minorities have to go.
Not even like thinly veiled.
Oh no. Wow.
But unfortunately, unless he resigns or dies, I suppose, which looking at him, you can't help but imagine it's just around the corner. Heart disease is the #1 killer in America. He's probably not going anywhere anytime soon, though. Supreme Court justice is a life sentence. And finally, over in Paris,
is that a life sentence for
climate...
him or us?
What?
Is that a life sentence for him or us?
Well, what I mean is when you're appointed to the Supreme Court.
We are sentenced to his life in office.
There you go. Sure, that'll work. Over in Paris, an international climate deal is in the works. Apparently, they're working overtime, literally, to try and get it done sometime by sometime tomorrow morning. The summit was supposed to wrap up there today. The 27-page draft is supposed to include compromises on climate financing for developing countries. They tend to rely more heavily on dirty fossil fuels and have few, if any, regulations, so they'd be hit the hardest by any deal that requires changes. It would also include provisions regarding transparency and the most divisive issue, how to share responsibility between lesser developed countries and more developed countries like the U.S., which are historically the biggest polluters. And should clearly bear some of the brunt of responsibility. The goal of the climate talks is to limit climate change in the coming years to 1.5 degrees Celsius, which I believe is about 2.7 degrees Fahrenheit. I didn't actually look it up directly, but because those conversion tables would gum up my computer too much at this point.
And also all that math,
Yeah.
Forget
So they're just worried about trying to limit the amount of the increase in climate change, the heating up, specifically for low-lying countries that will get that will be flooded if the sea levels rise. That's the goal.
Good luck to them.
Yes, absolutely. Buy some waiters.
You know what? For
your house on stilts.
For having not met since the San Bernardino shooting, that was an awfully jovial news section.
Yeah, why not? It doesn't always have to be depressing.
No,
I didn't even mention ISIS.
No, well, not directly. Although we're it's the internet.
It's kind of alluded to in
in
Muzzle comments.
In this section.
You're a daydreamer, a sassmouth, and not infrequently a bit of a giggle puss.
So, if you were on the run, a burglar on the run, would you hunker down next to some alligators?
Not knowingly.
Not on purpose.
Seems like a bad plan to knowingly do that. Of course, when you're in Florida, that tends to happen whether when you're not aware of it sometimes.
Well, this is hilarious because in Melbourne, Florida, Brevard County deputies have determined that Matthew Riggins, age 22 at the time of his consumption, was killed by an alligator in Barefoot Bay Lake on November 23rd while possibly hiding to avoid law enforcement. Investigators say that Riggins had told his girlfriend that he would be in Barefoot Bay to commit burglaries with another suspect who is now in custody. Deputies responded to calls in Barefoot Bay.
The lucky one.
The lucky one is in custody, not eaten by an alligator. Two men were dressed in black walking behind the houses who ran away from responding officers. Later that day, Riggins was reported missing to the Palm Bay Police Department.
and then eventually found drowned and chewed up by an alligator in the nearby lake. Yeah, I kind of disagree. I don't think this is really hilarious. Actually, when you think about it, it's fucking depressing.
No.
Because, like, all right, burglary is not good.
Sort
but
of a Darwin
you also
Award,
don't
though,
deserve
right?
to be chewed up by a fucking alligator.
It's sort of a Darwin Award situation here, though, right? I mean, if you're on
I don't
the
know,
run,
it's
if
like-
you're on the
like-
run from the police, would you go to an alligator-invested lake?
He
Hide in the
probably
dark?
the thought probably never once crossed his mind.
Well, that's my point.
It's not like he knew that little lake had an alligator in it. Especially if it's a lake next to a community, you wouldn't think that. Generally speaking, I mean, being from the South and being from Gator Country, usually those little ponds and stuff that are next to where people live have been, like they've intentionally killed any gators that get over about 5 feet long.
Well, that's how
And,
they.
How big was the one that they?
That's how they found. That's how they even found out about this, was because they were capturing and euthanizing gators in this area.
Yeah, I mean, where I live, you don't really see too many that are bigger than about 4 or 5 feet because they're hunted, and that's great because gators are fucking scary.
Yeah, well, they will eat you, as we found out here.
Actually, he died of drowning though, which is the most horrifying aspect of this to me.
So he was probably being chewed on and swallowed some
they
water.
will. I mean, haven't you ever seen Crocodile Dundee? They grab you, pull you down into the water, and then roll you.
Yeah. This is also this is a little more on par with the hilarity and less death.
Less frightening.
Are you ready? Are you ready for some poultry puns?
Poultry puns, do it.
Some thieves steal jewelry, others target car stereos, but one father and son criminal duo set their sights on something meatier.
It was foul play.
Oh! Over the course of 8 months, this pair, who both worked at a restaurant in Syracuse, New York, at least it's not Florida, allegedly ordered $41,000 worth of chicken wings, stuck the restaurant with the bill, and then sold the purloined goods. When they were caught last month, they were charged with larceny and falsifying business records. This article coming initially from Vice did some, quote, back-of-the-envelope math and figured out that over the course of their criminal career, these two made off with roughly 357,000 chicken wings, possibly more if they were paying wholesale prices. The poultry pilferers reportedly sold the wings to other restaurants or just randomly on the street. Okay, if you're walking down a New York City street, or any city street for that matter, and someone's like, "Hey, I got some wings here. These wings are hot. You're gonna have to eat them fast."
You know, this story doesn't so much make me feel disturbed or upset as it does hungry for chicken wings.
I do. No, I want some wings now.
I'm not sure I would just buy chicken wings from somebody on the street. Like some random person walking in. Hey, you want these chicken wings? I give them to you for $5.
Well, if convicted of these,
how much for one wing?
a dollar a wing. If convicted of the charges, it's safe to assume that the Rojex will be cooped up for a long time.
Slip one more in there.
Yeah, you gotta get the last one in.
Good for them.
Air traffic controller confesses.
Yes, this is the air traffic controller. You do not want bringing your plane in. Actually, he was let go from his previous position because he screwed up the landing of a flight with Michelle Obama and what's the VPs by Joe Biden. Were flying on it, and he screwed that up. An air traffic controller who once bungled a flight carrying Michelle Obama has landed in trouble when he was caught driving on Long Island with illegal guns and crystal meth, which he said he smokes to stay awake for his job. Breen Peck, 52, of Red Key, Indiana, who works at a major New York city control area, Westbury, was nabbed Wednesday night during a drug and weapons charges during a traffic stop in Whatnot, Nassau. Police said cops stopped his 2010 Toyota FJ Cruiser at 10 p.m. for illegal window tint and failure to signal, but he told them that he had a loaded handgun behind his seat and another in his rear cargo area, and then the cops found meth in his pants. That's meth. I smoke it to stay awake. I'm an air traffic controller, he said. He's been an FAA employee since 1991 and was transferred after that incident with the First Lady.
That sounds like something from a bad sitcom. Like, oh hey, that's meth. I smoke it to stay awake because I'm an air traffic controller.
So, and we don't have time to really get into this, and I just saw it right before the show, so I'm not really up on it. But apparently, El Chapo, the drug lord, you can see right off on the side there, they have a little note about this. So,
oh yeah.
But apparently ISIS destroyed one of their shipments of drugs. So El Chapo said they're going after ISIS.
Yeah. My men will destroy you.
Enemy of our enemy is our friend.
Whoa. Not sure what that is, but it's gone now.
All right. Well, here we go. We're ready for the big segment of the show.
This is the big one. I'm going to go ahead and try and pull Corey in here. Do you want to talk about Iron Fist here for a minute?
Sure.
Since you're a big Iron Fist,
that'd be great.
Iron Fist fan.
If I could.
You
Google Docs to
trouble.
agree with me for even a moment.
Oops.
Oh, for crying out loud. I still haven't actually loaded up that air traffic article yet. And we're back up at Drudge Up Nonsense. Come on. Is Corey responding at all?
We're working on it. I got to push the buttons. Pushing the buttons.
Oh, for crying out loud. So Iron Fist. Iron Fist would be the third in the series, in the series of Marvel shows that Netflix is doing, right? Is that correct?
That is correct. Hey, Corey, how's it going? Are you there?
Maybe.
Well, he's. I got his video. Can't hear you. Mm-mm. Oh, I'm getting the 1 second finger here. This is the 1 second.
Hello?
Hey, there he is.
Hey, sorry about that.
That's okay. We had we're fraught with issues today, but no, this is going to be the third in line of the isn't it ultimately going to be 5 Marvel to Netflix deals?
If you count the Defenders,
right,
as the 5th one, yeah,
right. Because after that we've got Luke Cage, and then the Defenders. So, update. Marvel has officially confirmed that Scott Buck is the new showrunner for Iron Fist. Statement says that Scott came in with the take on Iron Fist that was quite simply knocked us off our feet, etc. Talk to me about Iron Fist for just a minute.
Iron Fist is a little more on the mystical side of Marvel. He has kind of like bestowed powers from like mystical ancients.
It's his chi, isn't it?
Yeah.
He has chi powers.
And which has me very curious about the Netflix universe, because it's been very grounded so far.
What do you mean by grounded?
Like,
and hey, Corey, by the way.
Hey. Well, if you look at Daredevil and if you look at Jessica Jones, the way they're approaching the characters isn't like superhumans or people with special abilities. They're just kind of weirdos.
Yeah, well, but they're part of that whole superhuman world. They consistently refer to the big green guy and the other Avengers and the things going on outside
and of course,
Hell's Kitchen.
This is a Marvel universe without mutants as well.
Right.
Keep that.
Right. I don't know. I mean, dude with chi powers, that's not that crazy in a world where we have mind controlling and super strength and super senses, where you can hear somebody breathing 4 floors down and
I mean, I'm wondering if they'll
skin.
even really address the mystical chi power side so much as just let you see it in action.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely with the addition of Kilgrave, it's kind of giving them an into the more magical and like the weirder aspects of that world. Kind of like bringing Constantine into Arrow, it's kind of introducing the magical side, where Arrow season 1, you couldn't even imagine something like that in that world because it was a lot more grounded.
Well, I mean, they had the Lazarus pits and stuff already.
Yeah.
And Dark, whatever his name is.
Damien Dark.
Damien Dark, yeah. So you were kind of prepped for that a little bit.
See, yeah, but it's like it's slowly crawling in, and I think that's the approach that the Netflix series is kind of taking.
And I think that's smart. I think if you start throwing magic crap at people right off the bat, and they're just gonna be like, "Oh, this is stupid," roll their eyes and turn off.
Who do you want to see as Iron Fist?
Well, I think the big question is like, do you think they're gonna get a actual Chinese person to do it, or are they gonna get a Brooklyn? Because they've been going very local with the Netflix series. Is everyone's Hell's Kitchen born? Everyone's from that area, so I'm wondering if they're bringing in someone from the nationality of Iron Fist, or
what's the
Iron Fist is a guy named Danny Rand. He's an American who was raised in the mystical city of
in the series
Kunlun.
in the book.
He's an American, but he was raised in a mystical city called Kunlun.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't
he's
know.
probably like born in Hell's Kitchen or something.
Yeah, I'm just curious if he's being brought into Hell's Kitchen, because you got sort of aspects with the
He's going to be an arrival.
Yeah, with like the clan in Daredevil, there's some aspects in the later episodes. So I wonder if he's being brought into Hell's Kitchen or if he was already in Hell's Kitchen. I'm just curious how he's going to arrive there.
It's how they're going to incorporate him into the story, if he's already going to be doing his thing and just he accidentally crosses paths with somebody important, you know?
Yeah, because Matt Murdock was there during all the events of the Avengers. Jessica Jones was there. Luke Cage has already been there. So it'd be interesting to get maybe a perspective of someone who hasn't been there, who hasn't been in this hot spot for the weird and attacks and the superhumans.
Right.
Of course, he's got to already have a pretty high tolerance for weird as it is, since he comes from a mystical city and all.
Right.
What was I going to ask? What I feel like I've seen him without the mask on, and he's like blonde or something like that. Is that true?
In some,
but he's a white. I mean, typically he's a white guy, though, right?
What I know him best from is the Spider-Man Ultimate series.
Oh, okay, yeah, and that's actually I think where I've seen him.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the only version I really know of him. But I like his spiritual aspect, how he's very like centered and everything has a balance to it, and he kind of where Jessica Jones is very much emotional in how she fights. Same with Matt Murdock to an extent, and he's trying to learn how to balance himself. Where Iron Fist almost has like complete chi and balance in his fighting style.
So can you give me a Twitter post length description of what you thought of Jessica Jones? 140 characters or less, go.
Oh shit. It reminded me of like a 1970s detective drama, which was probably my favorite aspect of it. You had the jazzy soundtrack and you kind of had the pacing of a older show.
Yeah.
It didn't focus on her powers, it focused on her as a character, and we kind of learned who she was as she learned who she was.
There were points when I almost forgot that she, can punch through walls.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
and
the soundtrack.
They kept saying stuff like, "You can fly," and she's like, "Sort of," and then we kind of saw her like taking steps to build that up.
Right. It's more like jumping.
Yeah.
No, the score, the soundtrack was probably one of the. You don't really focus on it, but it sets that whole ambiance really well. I like that a lot too.
One of the things I was a little disappointed in. Remember the window gimmick, the front door window that it keeps breaking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I feel like they were kind of setting that up for a joke, and I know it's something that comes from the comic. And I feel like they kind of set it up, but then it fell flat. And I feel like if they'd have just gone one step farther in that direction, not just with that, but also with like Jessica Jones's snarky personality, and like it just had a tiny bit more humor. And I think you can still be humorous and still be dark.
Yeah,
I feel like that would have really added to the show a little bit.
That's the truth. It was so dark and. Yeah, I need to breathe a little bit.
I really felt like it was almost the response to the DC universe, how they're kind of like, DC, we're the serious ones. We're making more mature stories. Is almost like Marvel's answer, like, no, we can go darker, if not as much as you can. I
don't know. I have a hard time thinking of a man who wears his underpants on the outside as especially serious. That's a Superman.
Well, I mean,
blast.
the DC's on the CW, which like who takes that seriously?
The cast of Arrow is all extremely beautiful. I feel like I belong.
As opposed to Jessica Jones, where everybody's just so plain and unattractive.
Dude, Jessica Jones is not a supermodel caliber actress.
I think,
yeah, she is.
No, she's not.
Yeah,
she's
super
pretty.
hot.
She's pretty.
She's just playing it down a great deal in this show.
Well,
like, have you seen her in some of the other things that she's been in? She's crazy.
Well, no, but that's on purpose, right? They're
yes, obviously.
If they get someone pretty to play these parts, they have to ugly them up a little bit. You know, make it more gritty. We're not. Everyone on Arrow is gorgeous, and everyone in the Flash is gorgeous, and most of the people in Gotham even are gorgeous. I mean, aren't they? They kind of are.
Yeah, Harvey Bullock.
Yeah,
he's a heartthrob.
Not to mention the Penguin.
Hey, so what do you think old Waddleneck thought of The Force Awakens when they let him watch it? George Lucas and his
did he watch it?
Giant neck.
Because he's been saying he's been like ignoring the trailers, and he was like, you gotta treat it like an old girlfriend. You don't call, you don't text, you don't see how they're doing.
Well, according to the Hollywood Reporter, J.J. Abrams seems to have done Lucas very proud because they let him watch it. Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy simply remarked, "He really liked it," and I'm not sure how to take that.
Do you remember the trailers?
Obligated.
Do you remember the trailers for Terminator Genesis, where James Cameron said that it is a return to form and that he fully approves of it?
Yeah, no, and you know what? This doesn't fill me with much excitement or hope that George Lucas likes the Star Wars.
Who gives a crap what George Lucas thinks?
Well, there's that, but if he truthfully did think that it was just awesome, and the last thing he gave us was the prequels, that doesn't fill me with hope.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Who gives a crap what he thinks? He clearly has terrible taste. He hasn't had good taste since sometime in the 70s.
And also this week and last week, we were bombarded with a whole bunch of trailers. We got a new Batman v Superman trailer. We got the first real trailer for Civil War. And just today or yesterday, we got a trailer for X-Men Apocalypse. Have you seen that one yet, Corey?
I personally am gonna stay away from the Apocalypse trailers.
Really?
Just because there's so much internet weirdness on how he looks that I don't want to be swayed one way or the other, because I full-heartedly trust Bryan Singer and what he's done with X-Men. I just don't want to get caught up in the aesthetics of how he looks.
Yeah, well,
sure
you don't have
once you see the film.
Yeah. Well, how long do we still have to wait for Apocalypse?
That's because Deadpool is February, so I think Apocalypse is early summer, and then Gambit is end of summer.
Are we still getting? Oh shit! Are we still getting a Gambit movie, even though they can't cast him?
I'm pretty sure Handsome Chin is still
Tanning.
Yeah,
Tatum.
Yeah, Channing
Tatum.
Yeah,
Channing's Tatum.
He's pretty sure he's still in.
Very good. Also, here we have the Serial's back, and
yes,
they're
Serial.
they're not.
They're going to be talking about Bergdahl.
Yeah, well,
Bill Bergdahl, who's the. Have either of you listened to the first season of Serial at all?
You know what? I have not. I got my Serial updates from you when we did the show.
Corey, have you heard of it?
Probably, but
it's
okay.
that
It is
NPR
the most
podcast.
downloaded. It was a 12 part series last year that was revolving around a guy who was convicted of murder for the death of his girlfriend, his ex-girlfriend, during his senior year in high school, and has been in prison now for about 15 years, I think. And it was the most successful podcast of all time. Downloaded more than 100 million times. So that's pretty impressive, and it's kind of single-handedly is making podcast a viable and acceptable.
It brought podcasting
medium.
back.
Yeah, it's making it so that people actually give a shit about podcasts. So we should be happy about that.
Oh no, I'm very happy for the success of Serial, and they're not shying away from the controversy. Like they're going as controversial, I think, as you can probably get right now.
And actually, it's interesting. They after that podcast, the first season, they allowed an appeal to go through for that guy because he had a fairly legitimate appeal that was being ignored before. So Bo Bergdahl, for those who don't remember, is the American soldier who was in Afghanistan and decided to walk away from his post, and reportedly says that the reason he did it was because he was trying to get higher ups in the army who wouldn't pay attention to him otherwise to take notice, so that they'd listen to him for some of the things that he was seeing there. And he walked away from his post, spent I think 2 years in a Taliban prison or Al Qaeda prison. I can't remember which one. So he's a POW. Was traded for some Taliban or Al Qaeda fighters by the U.S. Last year, I think, and has been in U.S. Army prison since then because he's a deserter.
Right.
And so he's currently his fate is currently being decided. And he spoke with a filmmaker over the recent months. He's been tight-lipped and hasn't spoken to anybody except this filmmaker. And Sarah Koenig, who does Serial, got her hands on some of that and apparently talked to him. They didn't announce anything in advance and just released the first episode yesterday with no no hoopla in advance. They just put it up. So then you went to iTunes and it was up and available. And nobody knew what the season 2 was going to be. So it's
the
really
definition of a cold open, I think.
Yeah, which is cool. I like that.
Yeah, no, very cool. They're doing good stuff over there, putting podcasting on the map.
And finally, I saw this new sci-fi series called The Expanse. I watched the first 10 minutes of it yesterday. I haven't had a chance to watch the rest of it, but it looks really compelling.
Good. I'm so happy.
It makes like what's that show, The 100? That's about 2 seasons in now, which is terrible. It makes it look terrible because it's way so far. Just the first 10 minutes is a billion times better.
And this is one that's going to be available at sci-fi.com, just free for anyone, right?
I believe so. I mean, I watched. It was available. I just saw it through Facebook and was like, "Oh, what's this?" And I thought it was going to be a trailer, and it was the whole full first episode.
Yeah, I've never sat and watched an entire episode of anything on Facebook video, so no. I'm not sure about that. I hope it's got some full high definition something's around that I can pull down. Even if I have to do it on my web browser, I will. But not on Facebook. Have you seen it, Corey?
No. I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's based on those novels. It's like Earth versus Mars versus some asteroids and stuff. It's cool.
I'm neck deep into Fargo right now.
Oh, that's some good stuff.
That is a good one.
Well, hey, we got to move this along because I got to leave. I've literally got 8 minutes before I'm going to just call it.
8 minutes.
So.
All right. Well, hey, very cool. We're going to go ahead and skip top 5 because screw it.
Yeah,
Corey, it's been real.
Who cares?
We'll try again next week. Thanks for coming on the show. We love you and always appreciate your comic insights.
Thanks, Corey.
Catch you later.
See ya.
I cut him off. I'm an asshole.
Nerdy 9 at 9.
The Nerdy 9 at 9 is not going on right now.
Okay, so when they get back, Nerdy 9
he's doing other stuff though. He's a busy man.
You got a bumper to play for game time?
I certainly do.
I used to be an adventurer like you.
So, do you know how gaming consoles work? They're released.
No, I have no idea.
Well, basically, there's a certain.
It's all magic.
It's a magic box that does video games. Yep. There's basically it's released with a certain amount of hardware. Not all of it's unlocked because the level of programming hasn't reached a point where they need all of the hardware. So there's 8 CPU cores in your PlayStation 4. Sony sneakily unlocked the 7th one last week, meaning that independent and indie platforms and programmers will have access to using the 7th of 8 CPU cores. So all the stuff is going to look better and more polished, and it's not really, it's sort of non-news because Microsoft does it and everyone does it, but it's sort of strange to think about it. You have this hardware and you're only using 5/8 worth of its strength to perform whatever you're doing. So we should be seeing some more pretty things coming out of the PlayStation 4 in the next few months.
I mean,
it's
the
cool.
first thing that I thought of was, as gorgeous as Fallout 4 is right now, you know,
it might be even prettier.
Right? What do you call it when they remastered?
Yeah.
Could they may remaster it? Maybe they'll wait until that 8th core comes out.
It's a money grab, truthfully, like, because there's no reason in the world they couldn't have had all of those unlocked to begin with, and the big time developers could have always been using them. Like Bethesda could have been programming for all 8 processors, but instead now they get to release a $90 special edition digitally remastered version of Fallout 4 with a Pip-Boy and all the things that you wanted.
Yeah, if I hadn't already spent $60 on the first one, I might be willing to do that, but no.
Or, you know what you could do? You could just get it on PC like I did. And by the way, this segment is brought to you by Console Commands, which has been unbreaking Bethesda games since 2007, but only if you play it on PC.
It's brought to you by PS4, which is a console, because consoles are for actual people who play video games.
Also, this week, the Final Fantasy VII Remake has a badass new trailer. And the article on Wired says it looks sharp. I disagree. And part of that is because this is a bootleg. Someone took this video of a video, and that makes it look a little bit crappy. But also, you know, it's sort of clunky, and the cutscenes look tremendous. Fights look a little bit clunky.
No, the CGI, you know, looks great. But you know what? I don't care.
You told me on this show,
a bit of nostalgia for
like
it, but
4
I'm
months
not
ago.
Play that game.
Like 4 months ago on this show, you told me that you would care about this if they renovated the battle system into something modern and engaging that wasn't just...
You know what? I fucking lied, because I don't fucking care. Like, I watched the trailer for this because you were like, you said you'd care.
No,
and apparently I don't. So
I can't even wait now. It's going to be episodic too, so they're going to... because that game in 1997 was so enormous, and
I was all about it when it first came out.
Yeah,
but
and it's
I've moved
going
on.
to be,
believe it or not, I've moved on since 1997.
I haven't. I still live in my.
You know what?
PS1
I'll tell you what.
past.
If they release it for free, if I can download it for free and play it for free,
why would they
I'll
do
play
that?
it.
There's no reason they would. There's no reason they would do that.
Well, then I'm not playing
because
it.
there's thousands upon thousands of people who
money
will fork over $120.
Slight remake of a game that I cared about 20 years ago.
You're so it's not a slight remake. It's the modernization of the most epic story they ever told, and it's going to be amazing and beautiful and huge.
For 1 year, I was really into Final Fantasy VII.
And there are
the next year, I was
people.
into Final Fantasy VIII, and then the next year, I couldn't care about Final Fantasy at all anymore.
Yeah, well,
and that's
you are not apparently amongst the target demographic of many thousands of people who are going to pay 120 hard-earned American dollars.
I think I'm a little bit bitter that you called me out on something I said that I thought was never going to come up again. 6 months ago, I was just like, yeah, I know, they remake it. It's cool. Well, apparently, I don't. Apparently, I lied.
Well, that's fine. You're allowed. You can formally retract that statement right now. I'll give you the chance.
I'm not gonna completely formally retract it because it's theoretical that if they remade it in a different way, apparently this way isn't working for me though. But go check it out. They've got a trailer for it on Wired.com.
And now this.
So screw this first story about China. Nothing against China, but it's a laser weapon.
China's going to kill us all with lasers. That's all.
Yeah, lasers. And then skim through. We aren't going to do it, but we'll just tell you about. There's a 100 greatest inventions of 2015 available. It's a list available on PopSci. Go check it out.
Oh, we can't even skim through it because it's all freaking slideshows.
Yeah. Did you do any of them? I don't remember which ones because I looked at it like a week and a half ago, so I don't remember any of it.
There's all sorts of camera stuff. There's the new GoPro. There's wireless projectors. There's robots. There's the wraparound televisions and the surround sound in a tiny little Bose speakers. So there's this is innovations that belong in your home.
Yeah, basically all the cool stuff that we've talked about in this exact section previously on this show.
Yeah, BB-8 made it on there.
What did? Oh,
BB-8.
BB-8
Yep.
toy. Yeah, that makes sense.
Sling TV for cord
Did
cutters.
the hovering drone that films you GoPro style?
No, I don't think that made it. And if it did, it should come off
That's
of
a
here.
fail. That's a fail.
Well, no, because it didn't make it.
It didn't make what?
Well, remember that Kickstarter funded, and then they took everyone's money and pissed off.
No. You're thinking of the little tiny one. I'm talking about the one that follows you wherever you go. That's kind of like a GoPro.
Oh. Well, whatever.
Yeah, the one with. Remember the snowboarder who's snowboarding down the hill, and there's a drone following behind it.
I thought that was that one.
No, that's not. That's a different one.
Oh. Well, the New Horizons voyage to Pluto. Star Wars Battlefront apparently made it on here.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I should have played Battlefront.
Yeah, I
kind of feel like I dropped the ball on that one.
I feel like if I had
the Star Wars things coming up.
Well, yeah, but also given the chance to go back in time and change my mind from Fallout 4 to Star Wars Battlefront, I would not do it.
Yeah, no, I mean if you could only play one game or whatever, but
yeah. Well, hey,
but the most impressive for us this week is the USS Zumwalt, which almost has the right captain, Captain James Kirk, apparently. But the U.S. Navy's newest destroyer ship is a weird-looking trapezoidal hunk of gray steel. This is from Wired, by the way. Built at Bath Iron Works in Maine. Completed its first at-sea tests this week. Its captain, who really is named James Kirk, couldn't be happier with the crew and all those involved in design, building, and readying this fantastic ship. This is a milestone. It looks like the future, and in fact, it does kind of look like a spaceship that's moving through the water.
Cost $2 billion. This thing.
$2 billion. Yeah.
Looking for more pictures. There's no pictures. There's
just
a
Zumwalt class destroyer, whatever that means. Started in the early 1990s and has been a problem child ever since. At first, the Navy planned to purchase 32 of these stealth vessels, and now it's just going to buy. Oh, and then it said 7 and 3, and now 2, and there's only 1 at the moment. But it's apparently a stealth ship.
Yeah.
And it's got those angles that you recall from the stealth bomber.
Mm-hmm. I also recall them from the stealth ship in Tomorrow Never Dies.
I don't even remember Tomorrow Never Dies.
It was okay. But no, there's
let's see. It's got an advanced gun system that can hit targets 72 miles away and can continue firing more ammunition as it's brought aboard, a feature the Navy calls an infinite magazine. An infinite magazine. It can shoot its guns forever.
That sounds like a cheat code in a video game.
The most powerful destroyer in the Navy's history. It produces 78 megawatts of energy, enough to power about 10,000 homes. Some of the power goes to weapons like the electromagnetic railgun, which uses electricity to launch projectiles at 4,500 miles per hour.
Yes.
It's apparently you were wrong. This is apparently $3 billion.
Oh, geez. Okay. Well, I'm whatever.
And apparently there's some doubts about the ship's seaworthiness, which just, that works. It's kind of like the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and really you can
run
just
in 7 seconds or whatever.
12 parsecs, 12 units of distance.
Or whatever. Thankfully, that wasn't on the clip.
Well, geez. You know what? I can't wait for Star Wars. That's all I can say about this. If there's any one thing to take away from this show, is that Star Wars comes out on the 18th, and we're not going to get to see it until like January 12th.
Yeah. Yep, that's how it's gonna go. Well, and hopefully we might be able to make an event out of it. We're talking about that possibility, and we'll follow up on that a little later. And I'm sure the next, well, not the next show. We won't talk about it in the next show. The following show after.
The following show.
Yes.
A show that's coming up soon, in the next week, probably.
In the future, there will be spoilers for the Star Wars movie.
Yes, there will. We need to figure out exactly how long we're going to wait before we start talking about Star Wars spoilers. Because it's going to be
figure out how long I'm going to wait before I go back on the internet after it comes out.
Yeah, well, and it's going to be in theaters for like 6 months.
Yeah. But I'm not waiting more than about 3 weeks to see it. So.
No, I can't even wait. We should be like that guy who just buys out a whole theater for him and his friends and screw everybody else who wants to go see it.
Just think how many Battlefronts you could buy for the cost of that.
Yeah. Well, the three of us could go to the four of us, you, me, Chloe, and Katie, could probably all go see Star Wars for the cost of a couple of Battlefronts.
Yeah, probably.
Whatever. Hey, if you're still listening, what's the matter with you? But if you made it this far, let us know what you think about it. Go on iTunes, give us 5 stars. We'll shout you out on the show. Whatever you're using to consume this show, rate us. Let everyone know you liked it. Contribute to the show. Email us at northwestnerdnetwork@gmail.com. Thanks so much to Libsyn for the bandwidth. All members of the network for their contributions. That was Bill and me and Corey today. Thanks to Great Pacific for our theme music and everyone else for tuning in at home. Find us on Facebook, facebook.com/NW-Nerd-Network. New show soon. I know you got to get out of here. We will let everybody know what's going on with a new show schedule. I think he's gone. Are you gone? Bill's gone. Bye. Love you guys.
The weight of the apology is stretched us into nothing, spread thin across the cracks. The repair will never last. The love is held together using duct tape and rubber bands. As far as I can see, almost everybody bleeds. You and I are no exception. All I dare to say is just something in the way. Gonna change your heart, I desperately pray. Glue and string, cut it down to all its size, mold it like origami, needle and thread, stitching the patches again. Glue and string, cut it down to all its size, mold it like origami, needle and thread, stitching the patches again and 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 again.
Traveling through hyperspace ain't like dusting crops, boy.
And we're done. It's been awesome. So hey, what do you want to call this show? Bill's no longer here, so it's just us. Just you, me, chat room. The 3 of you. Oh, we certainly were scrambling today. That quiz was a trap. That's I think I want to use that as the title. That quiz is a trap. Very good. Well, hey, thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks, Corey. Glad we got you back this week. We always shoot for Fridays. Fridays are always a time crunch, though, so it's sort of hard sometimes. But love when we get to have you on. It's much more fun that way. Do everyone check us out next week. Find us on Facebook, and we will see you all